Last time on Dragon Ball DC, the evil Darkseid sent his Saiyan warriors to Earth. Hal and Goku were quickly taken out by the Saiyan Raditz, who revealed to the world he was Goku's brother. But before being killed, Hal Jordan managed to send Goku away to Themyscira, where he was healed with the Purple Ray. Goku awoke in a strange white void, his only company, the brother of his master, All Yang. Meanwhile, the Justice League fought off two of the Saiyan warriors, but with tremendous effort and at great cost. Now the League goes to confront the leader of the Saiyan invasion. Can Goku complete his training in time?
Goku fell to the ground once more, exhausted, while his teacher All Yang laughed as the Saiyan had failed once again.
How long have I been in here?
6 days, 6 months, 6 years. Doesn't matter.
Time flowed differently in the mindscape, yet it wasn't stopped altogether. It was buying Goku time, but he still couldn't close the gap between himself and the Saiyans.
I'm wasting too much time here! I can still sense bits of what's happening. My friends, everyone, they're in trouble while you just keep telling me to get angry!
All Yang smiled, explaining that this was the problem. Those emotions, the caring. He needed pure anger. Hate. Hampering it with hope limited his control. The foolish teachings I Ching had taught him were, apparently, holding him back. The Saiyans didn't share such a weakness, and so, they are strong. Goku denied any association with the Saiyans, not wanting to even acknowledge that part of himself. Monsters, murderers, who sent him here just to kill. Is that why he was so truly obsessed with getting stronger? Not to express himself, but to hurt people? All Yang explained that his Saiyan side was part of him, just like his human upbringing, but he must not choose his weaker side. He must only embrace his Saiyan side, become completely who he was meant to be, a warrior. Kakarot. Goku suddenly saw the image of the grey ape in the mindscape, killing Pa, rampaging, completely out of control. He had been capable of the same destructions the Saiyans are now causing, and while he stood here complaining, people were dying.
This is the power-up you need. If you could harness your great ape form's berserker power, you could kill them all. Your tail is only needed for the transformation. The raw power is still inside your body.
Goku took a deep breath before smiling and getting into a meditative stance, no longer trying to fight.
What are you doing? You've already gotten much stronger. You're close. Sitting down is halting training.
I'm gonna take a break. Torturing myself isn't training. You're supposed to know pretty much everything, so could you tell me what the Saiyans are? What my brother's life was?
All Yang hesitated, but eventually, he allowed this, explaining Raditz's and the Saiyans' history to Goku. He wished to break I Ching's training of Goku and turn him into his own personal weapon to bend the world. He couldn't keep trying to force him, or else he'd push him away before he could fully manipulate him. Vegeta remained sat in the ruins of Coast City, as he had been for the majority of the day. His eyes closed as his mother box told him all he needed.
To think they couldn't even handle this much on their own.
Vegeta rose to his feet as Wonder Woman arrived with Nappa tied in the lasso of truth.
I am Diana of Themyscira, and I am here to offer a chance for you to leave in peace. Your comrade here is no longer able to fight. Take him and your other ally back to whence you came. No further harm needs to be done this day.
Vegeta approached the pair. Nappa was now laying on the ground, and Batman was hidden on a vantage point, analysing the situation. Diana extended her hand to Vegeta, while Vegeta looked down at Nappa. Before facing Wonder Woman, his hand extended now too.
Vegeta, this rope, it let me see the truth. After all these years, we can have a better life, like the old days.
Vegeta incinerated Nappa with a single blast, maintaining eye contact with Wonder Woman the entire time.
I have no need for a soldier who can't fight.
You monster!
Wonder Woman tried to strike Vegeta, but he caught her blow, her incredible strength impressing even him.
Well now, isn't this a surprise? To think a backwater place like this could produce someone like you.
Before their battle could escalate further, Vegeta noticed a familiar figure entering into view. Raditz, who looked as if he was running for his life. Behind him, the Flash followed, panting heavily, while Martian Manhunter unclawed himself from Wally's arm. The battle had drained the Flash, and he was no longer able to harness his full power.
You better have a damn good explanation as to why you've brought these weaklings to my doorstep.
Yes, my lord. I simply wish to, show you their defeat myself.
Vegeta was tempted to kill Raditz in that moment, but decided he needed someone to take care of the rest while he fought the female. She had piqued his interest. Batman regrouped with Flash and Martian Manhunter, pooling their knowledge with the Saiyans and how best to defeat them. Raditz, realizing he needed an edge if he wanted to win, decided to go against Vegeta's preferences and use his mother box to send in a small unit of parademons from Apocalypse, charging at the three grounded heroes with his new reinforcements. Goku thought about everything his life had taught him. He had no idea how long it had been for him since he first emerged in this place, but it had given him everything he needed to decide his next course of action. He loved to fight, he loved to help people, he helped his friends, he forgave his enemies. Goku believed that everyone deserved another chance to come back stronger. He wanted to fight them at their best, but did that just mean strength? Was he really fighting the best possible version of a person if their life had held them back? His parents had raised him, but he was sent to Earth to kill them. He killed Pa. But Ma saved him, I Ching trained him, and now All Yang was trying to manipulate him. His brother hated him, but only because he wasn't there for him. The Saiyans were monsters, but they were victims of genocide themselves by a bigger monster. Everything had two sides, but one wasn't inherently right, one wasn't inherently stronger, one wasn't enough. He needed the duality. That's what his symbol had been there for. To remind him, Kakarot, the Saiyan warrior, Yin, Kent, the hero of Metropolis, Yang. He felt the great ape power inside of him roaring, raging to be set free. Goku tapped into it, only touching what he needed, never letting it envelop him. His aura burst to life, destructive and untamed. He was like the center of a storm, his muscles growing in size as energy poured into them. Oh Yang smiled. This must be it. This must be the wrath, the anger. Until the storm stopped. His aura was destructive, but tempered, flickering on and off in bursts of green. He opened his eyes, while his black hair stood upright. He took a breath, and then his features returned to normal, the power returning inside of him as quickly as it came.
Thank you. I'm grateful for having the time to train and figure things out. But I ain't gonna just focus on one side anymore.
The round faded around him, with All Yang beginning to fade with it. He could only enter Goku's mind due to his weakened state, but now he would never be able to take him. All Yang cursed his fate, and decided to try again one day with another. Wonder Woman began to lose ground, as Vegeta started to increase the intensity of his attacks. She was never overwhelmed. To the people on the ground, they looked like total equals. Every hit given was met with one right back. However, Diana knew she couldn't keep up this pace, not without doing something desperate, and the Saiyan just kept increasing in ferocity.
Oh, what's wrong? Maybe I expected too much. After all, you're only a woman.
Vegeta was cracked across the chin by a kick from Diana, sending him hurtling into the ground below. However, he regained his composure and landed safely.
That's Wonder Woman to you. Now, you were saying?
Very well, Wonder Woman.
Batman and company, however, were faring much worse. Having to deal with the parademons on top of Raditz was simply too much. Raditz even began blasting through his own soldiers to get better shots on the heroes, hitting Martian Manhunter as he shielded Batman and Flash from one blast. The three had nothing left. It was all but over. Or so it would have been, had Goku not arrived and deflected the final blast.
Hi guys! Sorry it took so long, but I'll take it from here, alright?
The Saiyan had arrived in just a nick of time, his damaged orange outfit now replaced with a black and white variant prepared by Hippolyta. Raditz clenched his fist in anger at the sight of his brother, dashing at Goku with all his speed, as if his wounds from earlier had been dismissed by his rage. But no matter how fast he moved, no matter what trick he tried, Raditz couldn't touch Goku.
This isn't right. It's only been a couple of hours. A simple Zenkai couldn't have made you this strong.
Raditz, you don't have to do this anymore! I know what happened! I know about Darkseid!
Everyone in the area turned at the mention of the name, with Vegeta and Raditz in particular staring in shock at Goku.
You know know about Darkseid? What is that, a joke?
Raditz' body began to glow, white-hot lightning crackling around him in waves.
If you knew Darkseid, you would be on your knees for the Master. He is beyond good and evil. He is the prophet of anti-life. He is the rock, the chain, and the lightning. All-powerful, all unforgiving, all conquering. He is your new god, now and forever. Now let us die! Die for Darkseid!
Goku raised his arms, attempting to shield the three behind him, but moving faster than even he could recognize, Wonder Woman appeared in front of him, knowing that only her bracelets had the power to block a blast of this magnitude from destroying the planet. The explosion could be seen from space, a final marking engraving Raditz's dedication for Darkseid into the Earth itself. Raditz's corpse had been reduced to stone, crumbling as it hit the ground. Wonder Woman was unconscious. She had been able to protect her allies and the Earth, but her proximity to the blast had taken her out of the fight.
Raditz, I'm sorry you were alone all those years. Bruce, take care of everyone here, alright?
You can't take him on alone.
I have to try.
Goku flew down to where Vegeta stood. The prince's arms were crossed as he was visibly showing annoyance at the fact that Raditz had cost him an interesting opponent. Though, from the technique he saw Kakarot use against Raditz, it at least seemed that he was better than the rest.
Hey, Vegeta, was it? Do you think we could move this elsewhere?
Now why would I do that? Your little friends here give me the perfect chance to take you out, like that Wonder Woman.
Something tells me you wouldn't want to win like that.
Perceptive. Fine, I'll play along.
Goku shot off first, with Vegeta casually matching his speed. They travelled for a brief moment before Vegeta grew bored and decided for himself. He landed on the ridge of a deep canyon, while Goku landed on the opposite side. Goku was relieved that it seemed like there were no people or animals here.
Why are you in such a hurry?
The quicker I settle this business, the quicker I can get to my real mission.
Well, I'm actually kind of looking forward to this. From what I know, you're meant to be our prince. Not every day a low class gets to spar with an elite.
Such rankings are behind me. I serve a higher purpose now than any Saiyan. Taking pride in what sent you to this mudhole is hardly becoming.
Being sent here was the best thing that could have happened to me. I'm not ashamed of who I am or where I came from. I'm Kakarot Kent, and I'm proud of that.
Vegeta gritted his teeth at the remark, but quickly regained his composure.
Then you die a proud Saiyan warrior. See what good it does you.
After a moment of silence, a pebble split from a nearby rock, and the war began. Their battle was intense from the start, but it was clear that Vegeta was playing with Kakarot, taunting him during the exchanges, while Kakarot had to focus every instinct he had on staying alive. Kakarot's main advantage was his freeform style, managed to divert Vegeta's blows and use his momentum against him to land some hits. But while this kept him in the game, Vegeta quickly adapted and began to overpower him once more. They charged towards each other, their arms locking together in a fierce struggle. Vegeta's greatest strength and stamina started pushing Kakarot back, knowing that he couldn't win this battle without using both the control and the chaos inside of him. Kakarot closed his eyes, taking a deep breath as his aura began to emerge from around him in spirals. Vegeta felt Kakarot's grip tighten. As the Saiyan's muscles began to swell up, Kakarot opened his eyes, no longer black. An explosion of green energy erupted around the duo, and Vegeta suddenly found his arms flung back. A powerful kick, accelerated by Kakarot's technique, smashed into his jaw. Kakarot's fist struck him in the gut, doubling him over, and a rapid blast of chi from Kakarot's other hand sent him flying back.
What is this technique?
Kakarot was using the power of the Great Ape in rapid bursts, his chi training allowing him to control the excess of power while still maintaining his senses. Kakarot blasted off again, landing another barrage of kicks far too fast for the prince to follow. Thanks to harnessing his Uzaru power, Kakarot had turned the tables, the battle switching to Vegeta desperately trying to keep up an offensive as Kakarot would strategically use his new technique in bursts to counter whatever Vegeta tried. Their damage was beginning to even out now, and Kakarot felt himself overwhelmed with joy at getting to go all out with this new move. Kakarot's smile quickly faded as he felt his power begin to plummet.
I'm so dumb! I never had a chance to see if this technique had any drawbacks!
Kakarot was feeling every subsequent burst of power getting weaker, and himself losing stamina fast. This technique was powerful, but it relied on him having enough of his own energy to control the Uzaru power. It couldn't be used repeatedly, or else he could lose the ability to suppress the form altogether.
So, Kakarot, it seems you've still got some tricks up your sleeve. I'm still going to kill you, fool. You're a dishonor to the power you wield. It's an abomination.
Huh, so you do care about all that Saiyan stuff after all.
Vegeta hadn't fully realized what he said until he said it, but now Kakarot had got under his skin. Try as he might to deny it, this battle was resurfacing instincts he thought were long dead. The idea of this low-class filth giving him trouble, it gnawed at him from the inside. But he kept it down. He had to, for Darkseid.
You dare doubt my resolve!
They clashed again, but this time it was Vegeta who went on the offensive, dealing out heavy blows that pounded relentlessly on Kakarot's defenses. Despite his determination, Kakarot couldn't catch his breath. He was fighting at maximum speed, pushing every muscle to the limits of its performance. Each block was firm, each counterattack was precise, but there was an unprecedented tenacity in Vegeta's attacks that he couldn't match. He had to go further. He couldn't let himself fall now, not after everything.
Come on, buddy! Give me everything I've got!
Kakarot's aura doubled in size, his hair whipping in the wind as he crashed into Vegeta with a single full power body blow. The prince coughed up blood, his eyes widening as he felt his chest light on fire. Kakarot was relentless. The more power he tapped into, the more he felt his sense of self begin to fade, but he tempered this fury with the control he was taught from his masters, using the chance to strike him with pressure point blows, the training on Earth on full display as Kakarot systematically cut off Vegeta's oxygen, with a final blast sending him crashing into the mountainside. Vegeta struggled to breathe, yet his mind was racing with only one thought: rage. Pure rage at this insignificant clown reducing him to such a pathetic state. He erupted in a dramatic display of power, storm clouds brewing and covering the night sky.
I belong to the upper echelon of the most elite warrior class that the universe has ever seen! I will not allow myself to fall before this low-class trash!
He could no longer hide it. His pride refused to be silenced any longer. This was the ultimate insult, and even Darkseid could not deny Vegeta his fury now.
My noble blood, spilled by the sheer luck of this trash? No, I will not allow this to stand!
Vegeta shot up into the air. He lifted his arms, the rocks around him crumbling from the energy released. Kakarot stood, one hand still grabbing at his shattered ribs.
Vegeta, wait! I know you're enjoying this battle too! We're both Saiyans! You're showing that you can fight what he turned you into!
But his pleas fell on deaf ears. Vegeta was beyond reasoning now.
I just don't have enough energy to fight back! But I have to try!
Kakarot winced in pain as he pulled both his fists towards the center of his chest.
Okay.
It is time to take back what is mine! Every breath you take is an assault to my honor, and for that I must thank you, Kakarot. By my hand, your blood will be the baptism for the rebirth of my pride! Galakan!
Cannon!
The two beams met with a massive flash halfway between the pair of Saiyans. For a brief moment, the cataclysmic struggle was frozen as the concentrated power of Vegeta's attack met the earnest determination of Kakarot's. But Vegeta's blast simply had more raw power behind it, and slowly but surely began to overpower Kakarot's. He had no other choice. The only way he could save the planet, save everyone, was to fully immerse himself in the Great Ape power. For the first time since he had killed Pa Kent, this would be its redemption. He wasn't afraid anymore, and so he let go. The Chaos Cannon erupted with power. Kakarot twisted his fist and the beam began to twist like a drill, literally boring through Vegeta's own attack. Kakarot roared with primal fury, completely overpowering Vegeta's blast and sending him into the sky. Kakarot remained on the ground, continuing to roar, mindlessly powering up to his limits. He had defeated Vegeta, but now he had gone too far. He had lost control of his senses. Still alive, Vegeta watched the roaring Saiyan from above, even more angry at the fact that someone who couldn't maintain their senses was harnessing the power of the Great Ape. Luckily, he did not have such a weakness. Kakarot's mindless powering up was interrupted by the gigantic boot heel of Vegeta, now transformed thanks to the artificial moon he had created. While Kakarot's power was great, now that Vegeta was transformed, he stood no chance, especially without the control of his senses. Vegeta blasted Kakarot repeatedly, lighting up the night sky, before breaking his legs with his fist, taking his time and enjoying every second he had of getting payback for his humiliation.
To think I was actually enjoying our battle. You brought the Saiyan back out of me, Kakarot. No small feat, though one that will cost you your life.
Vegeta watched as the last bit of power left Kakarot's body. The hero had just regained his senses, but it was too late. His hair returned to normal and his primal roars were replaced with screams of pain. The pair were no longer alone, however, as the military force of Argus arrived on the scene, the air unit commanded by Steve Trevor and the weapons supplied by Lex Luthor. Luthor had deliberately waited before involving himself in the battle, wanting the threat to be seen as unstoppable before swooping in to save the day. The soldiers blasted Vegeta, their weapons only serving to annoy him as he began to swipe at the tanks and planes with his tail, using his mouth blast to wipe out large portions of the force. Luthor wasn't impressed and initiated his main plan. Alex Core satellite floating in Earth's orbit began to fire strange rays at Vegeta, not harming him but draining the blood waves from the Saiyan's body. Luthor had discovered Kakarot's ability to transform due to researching him during their initial encounters, analysing samples of his blood from various battlefields and discovering the secrets of Saiyan biology. The plan was working until Vegeta's armor, which held his mother box, detected the blood waves leaving his body and began to create its own artificial source to keep Vegeta transformed. Luthor could prepare for the Saiyans, but not for Darkseid. Vegeta was furious at this fact, having no idea his armor was designed this way. Needing this outside help was a reminder for how he'd live without his pride, and it sent him into a blind rage. The giant ape crushed the stunned army, while Luthor looked on from the safety of his bunker, his drones allowing him to monitor the scene. Despite fighting to the last bullet in his chamber, Steve Trevor was killed. Kakarot was forced to lay and watch as the man was crushed by Vegeta, helpless. Vegeta's gloating didn't last long, as Wonder Woman re-emerged, beaten, but having enough strength to arrive just in time to see her lover killed. With all her Amazonian strength, Wonder Woman leapt past Vegeta's defenses and sliced off his tail in one swift blow. Vegeta was back to his normal state, panting but not defeated yet. He charged at Wonder Woman, overpowering what remained of her strength, and began to mercilessly attack her in revenge for his tail. His assault was stopped by the intervention of what remained of the Justice League, with Batman getting the Batplane's autopilot to kamikaze into the Prince. Vegeta emerged from the flames, with Hawkgirl hammering him with her mace while he was dazed. When he blasted her back, Martian Manhunter began to assault him mentally, breaking through the Saiyan's defenses just enough to hold him in place. This gave Luthor the chance to send the final orbital strike onto Vegeta, his satellite harnessing power from the sun itself to end the Saiyan. Yet still, Vegeta stood.
I have to admit, you really did a number on me. But I still have enough strength to take care of weaklings like you.
Vegeta began to charge his energy for an explosive wave that would wipe them all out at once, but before he could fire it, the Flash smashed his fist against the Saiyan's chest, cracking his armor. Vegeta went to counter, but by that time the Flash was already on the other side of the world, speeding up to launch another blow. He went to strike Vegeta again, but without turning his head, the Prince fired a blast on the ground beneath them both, erupting Flash's footing with a blinding explosion. Wally West was knocked out. The Prince had used the last of his energy to ensure the Flash was out cold, approaching Wally to make sure this threat was taken care of.
Not bad. You might have taken me out if you actually knew how to fight.
Vegeta was distracted, and Wonder Woman, having been given enough energy from Kakarot to move, took the chance to slash across his back, cutting through what remained of his armor and causing the Saiyan Prince to scream in pain, his body no longer having the strength to stand. Vegeta tried to get up, but he simply couldn't move. All the damage had piled up, and now he could barely crawl, grabbing his mother box from what was left of his armor and punching in the coordinates to send him back to Apocalypse. Diana limped over to the crawling Vegeta, realizing what he was doing, and so held her sword up with her non-broken arm. She was prepared to end this threat herself. He could not be allowed to escape. She would do it for Steve.
Diana, don't do it! Please, don't kill him!
Why? Look around you. Is this justice? Is it justice to allow this creature to live after all the lives he has taken?
I know, you're right. He's so strong that as long as he's alive, no one on Earth is really safe. But you've got to listen to me. Maybe this is just me being selfish, but right now, just as you were about to kill him, I couldn't help but think that it would be such a waste. I thought I'd gotten as strong as I could get, but fighting Vegeta, seeing how far he could go, it got me excited. Maybe it's just because I'm a Saiyan too, but during our battle, I could tell he'd been warped, that his pride in himself had been taken from him a long time ago. I was lucky enough to be sent here, where I had a chance to use my love of fighting to better myself. But Vegeta? He never had a chance to be anything more than this.
Diana stared down at Vegeta, who was still struggling to use his mother box. After what felt like an eternity, she took a breath and then dropped her sword.
Very well. I trust your judgment. If you believe he deserves a chance, then I shall be the one to ensure it. No more blood shall be spilled this day.
Vegeta, however, began to laugh, coughing up blood as he did.
Well, it's about time for me to make my exit. But this isn't over. Not by a long shot. There won't be a miracle to save you next time. When he finds out what you've done, Darkseid will...
Vegeta paused, a look of terror washing over his face. He knew what would happen if he returned to Darkseid in this state. A failure. It would mean the death that is life. The Omega Sanction. The prince dropped his mother box, deciding that whatever destiny awaited him here, it would be far more escapable than what Darkseid would do to him. As the survivors began to collect themselves, they all looked on in shock as Green Lantern arrived on the scene, but not the one they were familiar with.
You're not Hal Jordan. Who are you?
My name is Kyle Rayner, and I know how to save everyone.
The heroes of Earth had managed to survive, but at great cost. Yet this new figure has arrived, speaking of a chance to bring back those who had been lost. The future of the universe seems uncertain, as a new chapter has begun. Thank you all for watching the Dragon Ball DC Saiyan saga. As you can tell by that little teaser at the end, this is just the beginning of this story. We've got a lot more planned in the future and we're so excited to share it with you. However, due to the amount of work it takes to make these videos, there's going to be a little bit of a break between the next installment in the story. I hope you'll be able to enjoy the other content that will be coming to the channel in the coming weeks to make up for that. We're really going to put our all into this series specifically, so when it drops, it's going to feel like a really big event. As usual, I want to just do a quick run through of all the people who helped bring this together. The amazing Sid Part 2, my co-writer, Smugstick, the person who I helped collab with this series in the first place, and you should go check out his video series to see where Superman is. Seb Isa, who not only did the amazing Goku design, but also the transformation with the Goku, Ikari, Wrath, the same form that Broly uses in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. Seeing that come to life just blew my mind and really helped visualize what I was trying to get across with this version of Kakarot. And I couldn't be anywhere without my amazing cast. As always, go to the description below and check out all of their links. Be sure to follow them and their own individual projects. Before we close out, a little bit of a treat to everyone who helped me get to 6,000 subscribers at the time of posting this. Here is the blooper reel.
Wait, what do you mean I don't get a redemption? This is bullshit.
I'm Aquaman. That's a big motherfucker.
When he finds out what you've done, Darkseid will find your couch and he'll sit on it!
Darkseid? Silly Vegeta, this ain't Star Wars.
Monster in a mask.
Wonder Woman, I don't understand. No one on this island has any balls.